Night Force number 7, written by Marv Wolfman, art by Tom Mandrake. This is the final issue of the miniseries, and I guess it wraps it up. Probably. So we ended last issue with Zoe being kidnapped, Duffy being saved from a fire by Winters, and the bad guys seemingly winning. I guess. Again, this is a very confusing story to read. So far apart from each other. This is really more of a binge read thing. Anyway, Winters is standing over looking at Duffy as he wakes up. And then he's like, okay, hey, you're awake. Cool. I genuinely have no more use for you. Go home. And Duffy's like, no, Zoe, she was captured. We have to save her. Take me to where she is. And he's like, I don't know where she is. Take me to where she is. I don't know where she is. Take me to where she is. Dude, I don't know where she is. And he's like, fine, I have an idea. I want you to send me back in time to the night my father died again. Okay? And he's like, all right, sure, whatever. So he sends him back once again to that night. He sees inside where he and Zoe appeared the last time. And then Simon the Harvester comes in and kills his father. Same as it always was before. However, this time, Duffy's standing on the other side of the house. And he manages to, as Simon is escaping, tackle him, grab him, and then have Winters bring them both back into the present. So then Winters is like, oh, cool, yeah, he probably knows where Zoe is. All right, I still don't have any more use for you, and I don't need you to interrogate him, so I'm going to send you to your retirement party that is going on right now. And he just boops him away over to the bar where people are like, hey, congratulations, you're leaving, oh, that's great. And Jim has no time for that. He immediately makes his way out of the bar, calls a taxi, and makes his way back to the Winterscape Manor. And when he walks into the room where Baron Winters is, he's currently interrogating, quote-unquote, Simon the Harvester, which is really just ripping his soul from his body and getting information that way. And Baron Winters they explained, like, yes, these are souls. Yes, they are real, but don't touch them because they're very violent or something like that. But anyway, he does manage to get the information for where Zoe is. So we cut over to the evil team. I still don't have a good name for them. And the senator that they were using, who's been getting migraines, his migraines are now debilitating. He is unable to perform the tasks they need him for. And it's revealed that they actually did like a mind wipe on him to make him think he was a senator. He was actually just like a bum in the streets that they've just been recalibrating and reusing because he's really good seed in order to further propagate their species. But he comes in, they come into the room and they're like, okay, like, we're running out of time on this guy. I don't think we're really going to be able to use him. So we gotta get him to impregnate Zoe again, like now, in order to get our final level, our number 10. So they spit Zoe out of whatever cocoon they were holding her in and says, like, okay, do it, which I don't think it has to happen, birds and the bees style, because all of a sudden, Brian, the senator's, his eyes start glowing, and he's just blasting Zoe with the energy that's coming out of his face. And I think that's how babies are made. So we cut to Jim, who's making his way through the building. He comes across a young baby on what seems to be a sacrificial altar, and he's like, oh, hey, this baby's probably Zoe's. I'm going to save this baby. So he grabs the baby. Zoe, she's finally done with putting up with this. She smacks the senator in the face, which is enough to snap him out of his delusions. And he goes and attacks his quote-unquote wife, who's actually the one who's orchestrating everything. And she's like, all right, well, I definitely have no time for this anymore. And she uses whatever internal energy she has in order to blast the senator away. So he's gone. He's off the table. They did everything that he needed with him. So at that point, Baron Winters is sitting in his estate, and he feels that one of the Night Force has died, which I guess is the senator. I didn't know he was a part of, that's news to me. Anyway, Zoe is now in the crosshairs of the woman running everything, and she's about to be, taken down so that they can hold her until the baby is born. But then Jim comes in with a gun, holding her first baby, and saying, she's getting out now. And he's wearing the charm that Simon had, that his father also had around his neck. It's so confusing with the time travel. But regardless, the woman jumps at Jim. He just shoots her in the head, and that's apparently enough to kill her. And because she was so powerful when she died, she starts blasting her soul energy everywhere, killing pretty much everybody around. Jim, the baby, and Zoe make their escape out the back of the building. And Baron Winters teleports them back to the estate. And it's just like, okay, cool, you guys did it. Great. So yeah, you guys can go. And it's like, wait, is this my baby? And it's like, yeah, that's your baby. We can check DNA if you want. And she's like, nah, I believe you. So now she's got her baby back, and Baron Winters is like, seriously though, I'm done with you. Get out of here. So Jim is teleported back to his retirement party, and he's like, oh, okay, well, I guess I can enjoy things. Why not? And he shares a beer with his friends, and then Zoe gives Baron a little kiss on the cheek, hops in a cab, and makes her way back home. And he's like, all right, well, I guess I probably shouldn't have told her that she is actually already pregnant again. Like, that was enough to impregnate her, so oops. But we'll let her have a few days of calm and peace. In the meantime, let's go ahead and see what else is going on in the world. And he reads the Book of Night and sees, I guessed what's coming up next. We're not informed. Okay, I've been saying consistently that this book is very confusing. I understand the beats to it. I understand what one side wants, what the other side wants. But I feel that the greatest lacking of this book is terminology, in that I don't know what the bad guys were called. I think it was Darklings, but like they had all this terminology that they only ever really used once and then just expected you to remember it. And that's really a problem with a monthly comic that's confusing as this. Add in the time travel stuff and how history is always already written. Like, it's not a thing where it's a splitting timeline. You go into the past and then something new happens. Like, everything that has happened has always happened, including your time travel. And that's always super confusing unless you very linearly lay out, like, here's how it went. So, yeah, it's not a bad book. It's just kind of a confusing one, and the confusion then leads to just me not giving it as much care as I feel I would other books, because I'm just so detached from the plot as a whole. Art's okay, no real issue with that. It's just, this book, I felt like it wanted me to come into it with earlier understanding from something that happened before issue 1, and I didn't have it. I had no idea what was going on, and therefore this book left me behind. So overall, this book is kind of going to feel the wrath of having to cover the entire series in its rating, but I am going to give this one only a 5.5, honestly. And that mainly comes to the fact, if I'm just looking at this one issue, it climaxed with the fact of he brought a gun and shot her in the head. Like, that's it. That's how he took out this threat that has apparently been taking over America, if not the world, for 200 years, is he shot one of them in the head. It's just a little bit of a letdown on my side of things. But regardless, it was a miniseries I never would have read if not for this show, and I don't think I will read again afterwards.